Okay, let's talk about one of the most delightful and, let's be honest, wildly impractical tropes in all of cinema. The ridiculously complicated breakfast machine. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That amazing symphony of levers, pulleys, and dominoes, all just to crack an egg or pop up some toast. It turns out these incredible contraptions connect some of our favorite characters.
I mean, seriously, what could Pee Wee Herman, Doc Brown, and Wallace and Gromit possibly have in common? On the surface, not a whole lot. But they are all absolute masters of the same art form, the over-engineered morning routine. They all share this incredible passion for turning a simple task, like making breakfast, into a spectacular must-see chain reaction. So what do we actually call these things?
Well, the official term is a Rube Goldberg machine. It's named after an American cartoonist who became famous for drawing these kinds of inventions. The whole point, the whole philosophy, is about celebrating the journey, not the destination. It's about taking something simple and finding the most complex, roundabout, and entertaining way to get it done. It's basically the art of doing something easy the hard way.
But, you know, these machines didn't just pop up out of nowhere as fun movie gags. Their first appearances on screen were actually, and this might surprise you, tied to the social realities of the time. They reflected everything from real-world poverty to a pretty deep distrust of the industrial age.
And you can see that evolution so clearly when you look at the timeline. Back in 1931, right in the middle of the Great Depression, the machine in the R Gang's short Little Daddy is built for pure survival. Just 5 years later, you get Charlie Chaplin's famous feeding machine in Modern Times, which is this really sharp, dark satire of how factories were dehumanizing people. Fast forward to 1968, though, and the breakfast machine in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, it's just pure, joyful whimsy. The whole feeling completely changes in just a couple of decades.
Yeah, this contrast really shows you a split right down the middle in the trope's DNA. The early American machines were all about serious social commentary. They were about protest, about survival. But the British version, oh, that was totally different. It presented invention as this charming, romantic hobby. It wasn't about fighting the man, it was about creating a little spark of magic in your own home. And this little cultural split is just fascinating, and it really sets the stage for everything that came next.
Which brings us to the 1980s. I mean, if there was ever a golden age for the cinematic breakfast machine, this was it. The trope just exploded into the mainstream. It became this signature set piece in some of the biggest, most beloved blockbuster movies of the entire decade.
And right at the heart of that golden age, you find one single pivotal year, 1985. It was this unbelievable moment where a bunch of creative geniuses all had the same idea at once, and it cemented this trope in pop culture forever.
And here they are, the big three. In Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you have what is, for my money, the undisputed king of breakfast machines, a glorious, chaotic symphony of toys and animatronics. Then, in Back to the Future, Doc Brown's machine is way more scientific, almost utilitarian, but it's also perfectly flawed, right? It always burns the toast. And in The Goonies, while it's not strictly for breakfast, Dada's contraption to open the gate is just the perfect example of resourceful, backyard kid ingenuity.
Now, this wasn't just some random coincidence. Think about what was happening in the mid-80s. It was the dawn of the digital revolution. Personal computers, VCRs, all this sleek, mysterious, black box technology was coming into our homes. And these machines, they were the exact opposite. They were resolutely analog. They were transparent. You could see every single moving part. They were, in a way, a cultural counter-reaction, a celebration of hands-on, playful creativity in a world that was becoming more and more digital and invisible.
But if there's one studio that has made the Rube Goldberg machine its entire brand, it has to be Aardman Animations. I mean, the whole world of Wallace and Gromit is quite literally built on a foundation of these charming, wonderfully over-engineered solutions to everyday problems.
What's so great is watching how Wallace's ambitions actually grow through his inventions. You know, it starts pretty simple in The Wrong Trousers, with a machine purely for personal convenience, basically a device to help a lazy inventor get out of bed. Then, by 2002, the Auto Chef is a failed business venture that literally blows up in his face. And by Curse of the Were-Rabbit, his morning routine is turned into a mission-critical system for his professional pest control company. His inventions get bigger and more complex right along with the stories.
And here's the thing that sets Wallace apart from all those other solo inventors. He has a secret weapon, Gromit. His poor, long-suffering dog isn't just watching. He's often a key and very reluctant part of the machines. He gets launched, he gets dropped, he gets covered in jam, and this simple twist turns the contraption from just a cool mechanical gag into a genuine relationship comedy, all built on Gromit's silent, perfect, exasperated loyalty.
Okay, so as we move into the modern era, the tropes started to change again. After that 80s peak and Aardman's absolute perfection of the form, filmmakers started to mess with the formula. And then, something totally unexpected happened. The trope escaped the movie screen entirely.
So in the 90s, when CGI was becoming this powerful new filmmaking tool, you see them start to play with the rules. In Casper, the breakfast machine is powered by ghosts. It's totally supernatural. And then in Flubber, it's super high-tech with robotic arms and computers. That physical, analog charm was starting to get replaced by the kind of limitless imagination that new special effects could offer.
But then came the really big shift. The whole concept broke free from being just cinematic special effects and became a real-world art form.
And the difference between the two is really fundamental. In the movies, the machine is a narrative device, right? It's a special effect that tells you something about a character's personality. But in viral videos from creators like the band OK Go or Joseph's Machines, the machine is the story. The entire point is to build a real, working contraption and film it in one single, breathtaking take. The whole thing shifted from being fiction to being performance art.
So, after this whole journey, from a survival tool to a blockbuster gag to a viral video sensation, why do we still love these things so much? What is it about them? What's the core appeal that's lasted for almost 100 years now?
At the end of the day, I think it's because they're a celebration of transparent creativity. We live in a world of smartphones and algorithms where how things work is a complete mystery. But with these machines, everything is visible. Every single cause has an effect you can see. They remind us that the process, the journey itself, can be just as fun and rewarding as the final result. They literally transform a boring daily chore into an act of pure creative joy.
And that kind of leaves us with one final question to chew on. We live in an age of AI, of smart homes that are getting more intelligent but also more invisible every day. So, what's the next evolution of the comically over-engineered machine? What does that playful, transparent, hands-on spirit of invention look like in the future? Thanks so much for watching.